Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Soft Spoken Poetry with the King of Limericks. Today we're recording from an undisclosed location. You might hear some birds and bees and cowbells and the occasional church bell ringing in the background, and I hope you don't find that too distracting. If you do, I apologize, but we must carry on. So today we're carrying on with some poems that I wrote, some original poetry today. The poems were written for my kids because I wanted to help them learn about human anatomy and physiology, and I thought these fun little poems would be a great way to get them interested in different parts of the body. There are 5 poems in the series dealing with different parts of the body, different systems in the body, and it'll all make sense when you hear it, I think, so let's just get on with it. The first one is called Life's Little Units. This is the cell from each living thing, wrapped in a membrane, enclosed in a ring. Organs and tissues, they're made up of cells, and inside of the cells are some small organelles. This is the nucleus, right in the middle, coding the genes like a protein-based riddle. In the nuclear envelope, sealed like a letter, DNA chains all spiral together. The mitochondrion generates juice, producing the power we put to good use. For ATP bringing the charge that we need, fuel for the body to grow and succeed. Now let's see if you know your curriculum. Time for the endoplasmic reticulum. A series of tubes, the ER for short, carries out functions like protein transport. Ribosomes everywhere run like machines, and out of aminos they build the proteins. The Golgi body takes part in this meeting to take up the process of protein secreting. The vacuoles now, with an enzyme solution, flush out the waste with a cleansing diffusion. It's larger than life, but downright molecular, and I think you'll agree that it's sort of spectacular. Part 2 is called the GI Tract. This is the system of human digestion. Together, I think we can answer the question, what happens to food when we put it inside us? Open up wide, and the passage will guide us. The path of digestion begins in the mouth, on a journey that leads irreversibly south. The teeth do their job, chewing food into pieces. Now enter the enzymes saliva releases. Epiglottis protects you by closing the gap at the back of the mouth with a soft, tender flap. If you choke on it now, you know something went wrong. Then, whoop, the esophagus leads us along. From here to the stomach, just come right this way, where acids and juices all come into play. It's here the digestion of proteins takes place, with help from the peptides and gastric lipase. Exit the duodenum and pass by the spleen, to the liver, the organ whose task is to clean, removing the toxins to make your blood pure, a pivotal process for health to be sure. We've reached the intestine, the one they call small, but at nearly 9 meters, it's not small at all. A segmented tube running this way and that, absorbing nutrition and processing fat. The larger intestine, it's known as the colon. Mind what you eat so it doesn't get swollen. Food high in fiber will work it all through, and arrive at the end with a smooth number 2. Part 3, Bones of Contention. The skeletal system comprises our frame, with hundreds of bones, and they each have a name. 206 per adult, quite a lot, but 270 bones in a tot. Consisting of calcium, iron, and marrow, the bones help you stand up erect like an arrow. They hold the whole body together perhaps, without them you'd simply fold up and collapse. The rock-solid skull can secure the soft brain, but watch out, low ceilings can cause it some pain. You'll notice the head and the body connect, by way of the backbone, to curve and protect. The number 1 nerve, it runs right down the spine, so see that the vertebrae nicely align, and giving your cervix a bit of a rest, draw back the shoulder blades, open the chest. Connecting the collar, the clavicle bends, meeting the scapulae, there at the ends. Just like I said, they're exceedingly numerous. I won't pull your leg, but we're now at the humerus. From elbow to forearm and never at random, the ulna and radius working in tandem, Then follow a series of carpals and joints to finally arrive at a finger that points. Now the typical torso, I feel it's worth noting, has 12 pairs of ribs, with the last 2 pairs floating. Joined at the sternum and spreading apart, they shelter the organs, the lungs, and the heart. At the seat of the sacrum, the tailbone tips to the pelvis, whose purpose is shaking your hips. And now to the longest and strongest of all, the femur performs and the person stands tall. We're nearing the end, so now be a good fella, lean over forwards and touch your patella, where tendons and leg bones conjoin at the knee, all bending and stretching like limbs of a tree. Alongside the fibula, this here's your shin, the tibia presses up flat on your skin. Turn at the talus and come to your feet, the ground of your being where man and earth meet. Use your phalanges and take a bold stand. The parts of the foot look a lot like the hand, each with 5 digits and one of them stubby. The big toes and thumbs are a little more chubby. So these are the bones that are bound up within you, moving with help from the muscles and sinew. So exercise often, I urge you to try it. Take care of your body and eat a good diet. Part 4, From Heart to Heart. Home is the heart, the centermost core, alive in your chest with a critical chore, pumping away like the beat of a drum, and moving the blood from your foot to your thumb. Circulation begins where the arteries start, by pushing the blood cells away from the heart, down the aorta and into the flow, delivering oxygen needed below. A system of arteries branching throughout to nourish the organs around and about, till the blood finally reaches the furthest domains, where capillaries merge and converge into veins, returning by way of the great vena cava, coming in thick like a rush of hot lava, back to the center, but oxygen poor, time for a breath of fresh air to restore. Approaching the lungs at a regular pace, here an exchanging of gases takes place. From the windpipe comes oxygen deeply inhaled, while carbon dioxide is slowly exhaled. One vessel opened, another constricted, constantly moving those 3 quarts of liquid. The cycle continues, the blood runs its course, endlessly pulsing with bodily force. We're experiencing an unexpected rainstorm now, and we're going to have to relocate to continue the recording at another time. That was quite the electrical storm we had there. I apologize for the disruption. If I were the superstitious type, I would say that God doesn't want me to continue with this podcast. But thank God I'm not the superstitious type. So the show must go on. And now we will finish up with part 5, which is titled, Always on My Mind. This is the brain, the seat of control, performing the primary leadership role, a bundle of nerves and elaborate wiring commanding the body with synapses firing. The medulla can basically help you digest. Without it, you'd suffer from cardiac arrest. Above the medulla, the pons has its place. It monitors breathing and parts of the face. Hello, hypothalamus, practically thinking, to oversee sleeping and eating and drinking. The thalamus works with a similar function, involved in the actions of love and consumption. Cerebellum comes next for your mobilization, to move with precision and smooth coordination. In the midbrain, the tectum looks up to perceive the visual signals the eyeballs receive. In mammals and reptiles, the cortex is key, gray matter that's linked to the olfactory. The grand hippocampus can help us remember. It separates mammals from lowlier members. The amygdalae, deep in the lobes they reside, they process emotions and help you decide. And so humans can act with deliberate luster. The ganglia join in a cranial cluster. And to finally enable the clever logician, the prime neocortex brings higher cognition. So these are the pieces that make up your mind, all wrapped up together and neatly entwined. And that wraps up my series of anatomy and physiology according to anapest metered poetry. I hope you've found this educational, informative, entertaining, and worth listening to. and let us know in the comments how you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click the links, save the button, and share the post. And hope to see you here next week. Thanks for listening.